my first pleasure is to introduce the StoryTALK event with Nick Ricucci. I like to say Ricucci, it sounds so good in my mouth. So today's speaker, Nick, or Nicolo, is originally from Perth, or has been in Perth, was in Toastmasters here in Perth, so one of our own. 2 years ago, Nick stood on a stage very much like this one as a test speaker at our annual conference. He'd been a member of Toastmasters for only a few months at that time. Today, he is back, and a lot has changed. In the time between that speech and this one, Nick has built a career as a professional speaker. He's founded a company called Scarlet AI that helps businesses navigate the rise of artificial intelligence through workshops and automation, and has spoken in stages across Australia and internationally. He's done all that while raising 3 children in Brisbane with his wife, Laura. I assume they're quite young children, because you look young.
Not that young.
Not that young. You're younger than you look then, younger than you are. Laura is also his business partner. But the part of the story that's most interesting is not where he is now, but where he was 3 years ago and how much has happened to him over this short time. So today, in a talk that is entitled The Courage to Say Yes, Nick is going to tell us what happened in those 3 years and what it might mean for each of us in this room. So over to you, Nick. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Toastmasters, for having me here again. Marie, thank you for flying me all the way from Brisbane. Thank you for validating my imposter syndrome. I'm having a great time. Great speeches, especially last night. The one that made me laugh was Wendell's speech on the gym. So I was at the gym, the 3rd floor this morning, and I was doing the curl, the dumbbells. And I realized I speak 3 languages, so English, Italian, and the 2.1. And it was like Grant, was that Grant, Wendell? Yeah. Like, so the Grant language. But that's the point, right? So communication is very important. You can influence other people with it. And I want to walk you through my journey in communication and how it all started. It all started when I was in Perth. I was on my couch, and I was watching one of my favorite podcasts, this one. Does anybody else watches it? Yeah. Yeah, that's so good. It's the Diary of a CEO. And there was a random episode. So the latest episode was on communication. And there was a great public speaker, Julian Treasure. So he went on TED Talks a couple of times, 40 million views or something. And there was one part of the podcast that really resonated with me. I'm going to play it, just a few seconds.
The confidence to do it comes from practice, and that's what I always say to people. It's part of my course. You know, I talk about doing things, just doing the thing. Speaking in public, Toastmasters, for example. You know, they're in every city in the world. You can go and join a Toastmasters chapter and start speaking in front of people.
I didn't know what Toastmasters was, so I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. So I went to the website and I looked for the nearest one, the one in Mount Auburn. So I joined the one in Mount Auburn. I had these 2 words in my mind, try Toastmasters. And I did it, and then completely reshaped the course of my life and my career. And I realized there was a bit of a butterfly effect. So who here is familiar with the butterfly effect? So that's a concept or theory where the butterfly flaps its wings, and then through a chain of events can originate or can generate a hurricane or a storm on the other side of the country, the other side of the world. And I realized that was a bit of a butterfly effect for me. So how does it work in day-to-day life? You've got your small action that you take, a choice, then you've got a ripple effect, and then your life changes completely. That's what happened with me. I'm going to walk you through it. And I'm going to walk you through 3 key lessons that I learned along the way, a lot of mistakes, and also tips and tricks on how to level up in your business, on your career, leveraging your communication skills. So who here is ambitious and wants to level up in their business, in their career? Leverage your communication skills. Okay, it's not right or wrong. If you want to, That's what I'm here for. So the first lesson is say yes before your brain says no. So say yes immediately. So if you see an opportunity, if an opportunity is given to you, say yes. I know sometimes, if the opportunity is very scary, like this one, you want to say, oh, sorry, can I circle back to you? And you don't, you ghost. Or can I, done that. Can I let you know? And then you don't. But in your brain, you know you need to say yes. So the thing is, say yes immediately, deal with your emotions later. You can do it. And that's, I'm going to tell you a story of what, so my scenario where I did this. I was on my, working on my desk, 3 months in Toastmasters, so 3 months experience in public speaking, and I received this message from Marie. And she's like, oh, we have a test speaking, we have an opportunity as a test speaker. Would you like to come in? Are you interested in the opportunity? Okay. So can you imagine what was going through my mind? It was this. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I wasn't worth a speaker fee at the time. That's okay. So what was going through my mind was, of course not. So I grabbed my iPhone, and I immediately reply, yes, of course. I said, okay, can you give me a call so we can go through the details and how that works? And sure. So she gives me a call, and she explained the details and stuff. And I say, the question that I always used to ask, how many people are coming? And just to give an idea, this was my context, so 3 months, that was my context. Going to Mount Autumn, the meetings, 7, 10, 12 people, tops. How many people? And she's like, over 100? So in my mind, I'm like, I'm going from this to this, okay? And in my mind, consequently, I'm like, yep, yep. It actually gets more interesting. I was talking to my parents in Italy, and like, Mom, I'm going to be in a conference, public speaking conference, and I'm going to speak in front of 100 people. And like to diffuse the situation, to cheer me up. And she said, that's okay, Nick. No one's going to judge you. and like, Mom, actually, the only reason why I'm there is because I've got 8 judges, and they're going to judge me. And they're going to tell 100 people what I did wrong on stage in front of 100 people. So they're going to tell everyone how I pace through the stage. I still do it. Okay, how I use my gestures and hums and ahs and that sort of stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. She didn't know what to say. And she's like, yeah, you're going to be fine. That's okay. Anyway, I did that. I'd like to think I did decently well. But this is the lesson, right? What if I didn't do it? This is the lesson. Say yes. Again, say yes before your brain says no. So the second one, very vulnerable. I haven't shared this with anyone except for my wife. So the first time. So stop the recording, please. Stop consuming, start moving. And this is not take action, right? We all know this. You're in this room. This is more subtle. This is something that I felt stuck in that circle. I didn't realize I was in that circle. There's a reason why I've got meditation. There's a reason why I've got a picture of someone reading books and going to the church. That's not me. I wish I had that body fat. That's not me. Anyway, many years ago, I started this personal development journey. I started reading a lot of books. Every single day I was reading books like crazy. And then I established a super strict morning routine that these books teach you. So 4 a.m. in the morning, no matter what, wake up, and then meditation, prayers, go to the gym, 5:30, 7 a.m., reading, breakfast, and then start working. So after 6 months, only 6 months of this morning routine, I achieved nothing. After 12 months, nothing. After 18 months, nothing. So I went to check this. And I'm like, these books don't work. I'm not progressing in my life, in my career, in my business. And I realized I was caught in a circle called productive procrastination. So you are sold and you feel like you're growing. You're sold the feeling of growth, but you're not actually growing. You're not actually doing anything. You're back on square one. You stay on square one. And it's very subtle. It's very hard to get out of that cycle, because it's one thing to stay on the couch all day, watch Netflix all day, and another one is to take action. We all know this. We all understand this. This is different because you take a lot of actions, but they are unnecessary. They don't move you forward, according to your goals, of course. So then I bumped the light bulb moment was I was watching, again, a random video by one of my favorite influencers, Alex Hormozi. Does anybody know him? Alex Hormozi, entrepreneur? Yeah, he's the best. And like it dawned on me, it was like, if a book doesn't change your behavior, you're just entertaining yourself. So what I can tell you is it's okay to read books. Actually, read a lot of books with intention. You have to have an intention. Why am I reading this? If I'm not changing a set of behaviors, whether it's my life, my family, my business, the job that I do, then I'm just entertaining myself. And that goes for podcasts, it goes for videos and content. It's a hard lesson that I learned. I wasted 18 months of my life. I don't want to say this because it's a lesson that I learned anyway. So the first thing that I did, I'm like, screw that bloody routine. Now, my routine to this day is sleep until I wake up, no alarm clock, prioritize sleep. I pray, then I go to the gym anyway, and now from today I'm going to think about the grand bloody language that, thank you, Wendell. And then start doing actual work that moves the needle, okay? So how does it work from a communication perspective? Because I was able to decently leverage the communication skill that I learned here at Toastmasters. So I'm going to tell you what I did, and please, this is what worked for me. So feel free to connect with me after and tell me what works for you, because I always want to learn. So start moving. So I started very small thing, right? This is not work related, but very small table topics. You know, where the topic is announced, and they scan the room for some volunteer to come and speak, and the reaction, in my opinion, so that's what I was doing. My reaction was this, like, all the time. So, anybody else does that? Yeah. So I did that. So I'm like, okay, let's put my hand up. Now, let's talk business, let's talk work. How do you level it up? Do the same thing in your work, in your job. So I'm going to tell you what I did. So I work for an AI company called Pia. It's a very niche use case for AI. We have developed a software that automates and uses AI to automate business processes for IT call centers. So very niche. We go to a lot of industry events. Okay, we go to a lot of industry events around the globe. And because we sponsor some of those events, we have speaking spots. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. And because I'm crazy, I said, Nick, that's my boss's name, great name, I said, Nick, can I take the next spot? So that was after that speaking, there was an event coming up in October in Sydney at the ICC. And I said, Nick, can I take it? He trusted me. His butt was on the line, and he said, yeah, take it. And guys, this is a professional environment. Has everyone ever done professional public speaking for work? Yep. So you understand the pressure. This is not Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a very welcoming environment. You guys are amazing. If I get stuck, you just clap and cheer me up. That's professional. There is a professional environment. So, but because I'm crazy enough, I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I did that. So that was my first speaking engagement, 300 or 400 people coming through. And of course, I freaked out. I didn't sleep for 2 nights. I did not sleep for 2 nights, yes. But again, I did my 15-minute speech. And then I went back to the booth, and people coming, they're like, oh, Nick, you killed it. That was great. Now, the sales cycle of Pia, the sales cycle is between 30 to 45 days, which means from MQL, from marketing qualified lead, prospecting to signed contract. Usually we sell the software, we manage to sell the software between 30 and 45 days, a month and a half. Two people came to me, two prospects came to me and they're like, Nick, how do I sign up? I want to sign up now because of that, because of the skills that I learned here. So my boss was next to me, and my boss is like, okay. I can see where this is going. Like, okay, screw it. From now on, would you like to take all the speaking engagements around the world? because you generate money. And again, I had 7 months of experience of Toastmasters. That's it. So you can imagine. So I said, yes, immediately. I said, yes, of course. So, and now I'm doing it professionally. So I went to the US, I went to Dublin last year, and I do this all the time. This was in New Zealand a couple of months ago, and this was in Melbourne last week on Wednesday. And this is my family. This is Laura, my kids, Scarlett and Willow, and Elizabeth, the little one. When they come to the airport to pick me up, when I come back from the events, it's the most amazing feeling. It's so good. And these are my twins. So in the yellow boxes, you've got the twins, Scarlett and Willow, and Elizabeth, she's in the middle. So again, the lesson for me was, I can share with you, put your hand up and keep doing the work. How? I understand not everyone has this opportunity, of course. I understand that, to go to industry events and ask for speaking spots. So I was talking to a couple of people this morning and yesterday, and I always ask, oh, how are you doing public speaking outside, Toastmasters? Have you got speaking opportunities at work? And they said, no. Maybe I'm in a technical role. That's fine. So I can give you 2 things that I'm doing, that I did, that you can do. So seek internal opportunities, okay? Seek internal, and what I mean by that is, go to your boss and ask, boss, is there any function, is there any department of the business that would benefit from training, whether it's a line of business application or even your communication skills? Communication closes more sales. Surely your boss is going to be interested. You say, can I train my peers? Can I train my colleagues on anything at all? Training companies are very expensive. So there is a chance he's going to say yes, she's going to say yes. Also use Eventbrite. Does anybody use Eventbrite? Yes. So I use it even today to promote my business. And it's good because you go to these networking events, and not always, but almost always, these networking events, they have a guest speaker or someone can do a speech, can deliver a speech, 10, 15 minutes to speak about anything, whether it's a software you build, whether it's a story, experiences. So do that, please. It works. So the third lesson, nothing to do with public speaking, nothing to do with work, but has everything to do with it. And it's the hardest. That almost cost me my marriage. So the lesson is build your house on the rock. So this is a biblical citation from the Christian Bible. And there's a difference between the house built on the sand and the house built on the rock. Who's familiar with this passage? So there's a foolish man that builds a house on the sand, keeps building the house on the sand, on the sand, on the sand. And another one, wise, that builds the house on the rock. When the storm comes, because they will come, when the storm comes, of course, the house on the sand collapses because it is not built on strong foundations. I was very much this guy, right? I was building my house on the sand. Very selfish. Everything revolved around me. And obviously, that doesn't work in a marriage. Almost cost me that marriage. I had to fix it. I'm like, okay, we need to fix this marriage. How we fixed it, different story. I haven't got 2 hours. I only have half an hour. But I'm like, instead of focusing on personal development, how about we focus on family development? We're one thing. We're one thing. We're not separate individuals. We're one flesh. How about I do what is good for the family? How about I do what is good instead of what feels good for me? Completely changed my marriage. My wife is my biggest supporter. We have clear roles in the family, and I love her so much. I wouldn't be here without her, literally. She taught me a very good lesson. That's a bonus lesson. It's not mine. Laura will get the credit for it. This is how we used to deal with problems, right? So problems come in, and we were internalizing those problems and trying to find the blame within either one of us. So it was us against each other. Now we're us against the problem. As a team, it's not us against each other, it's us against the problem. Completely changed perspective. Now, because we're not crazy enough, we decided to move to Brisbane, and we started Scarlet AI. So Scarlet AI, we do process automation. We automate mundane and very recurring repetitive tasks. And also, the core of the business, my core revenue stream, is training and doing lunch and learns and doing workshops, especially 365 Copilot workshops. Because 365 Copilot is accessible to everyone, is already in your Office 365 suite. A lot of businesses are on the Office ecosystem. They don't know how to use it. So I go there and provide the workshops and training. So this was one of my recent ones with Enable Advisory. It's a mining company. They do provide advisory consultancy for other mining companies in collaboration with South32, which I understand they have a presence in Perth. I didn't realize they were ASX listed company. After I looked that up, it just was crazy. But why am I telling you this? Because this is the feedback that I get, right? Probably the best, most engaging, fun learning session. The group was still talking about the presentation afterwards. This is not to show them off, but because I can leverage my communication skills and pair them with my technical skills, right? If you're good at what you do technically in your craft, if you're a 10 out of 10, you know better than me that if your job involves any kind of interactions with people, with customers, prospects, colleagues, if you're not working on a basement by yourself, chances are you're going to need to use your communication skills. If your communication skills are 4 out of 10, you're only going to be perceived as 4 out of 10, not 10 out of 10. Then, of course, it doesn't apply to you because you're here. You take communication classes. You know how to communicate. This is what I'm saying. If you want to level up, pair your technical abilities with your communication skills. And guess what? This is even more important today because guess what's the only thing? There is one thing that AI cannot ever replace, will never be able to replace. That's yourself. That's your personal brand. That's yourself. Build your personal brand. Post content on LinkedIn. Relationships. The way you make people feel. Like Wendell made me feel laughing this morning. It was great, right? AI can do that. So build your personal brand. These skills are all interconnected. They are connected to communication skills. So you are in the best place in the best time. Please do that. If you watch videos, they say, oh, what's the best skill to learn this day and age? Oh, they say AI. I agree, of course. But not enough. I say AI and communication. And communication. Build your personal brand. So again, just to recap the lessons, say yes before your brain says no. Say yes immediately. Deal with your emotions later. Stop consuming. Start moving in a meaningful way. If you have a feeling that your actions and what you do does not progress towards your goal, you're taking actions but they are unnecessary, change, course correct. And also build the house on the rock, right? This is if there is one takeaway from today, this is it, right? And say yes to the opportunities. If, like 2 years ago, you had told me, oh, after the test speech, for example, oh, in 2 years you're going to be doing this for a living. And I'm like, oh, you're crazy. Of course not, you're crazy. But we never know one opportunity, what can originate, right? So I say take opportunity, take every single opportunity, but also give them. Okay, if anybody here is a manager or in charge of people or business owner? Yeah, okay. Give those people opportunity, okay? Give them. If you see they're putting their hand up, they're hungry for growth. Give them the opportunities. You can be the butterfly in someone else's life. You can change their life. You don't know it yet, but you can, right? You can. If you want to connect with me, that's my QR code to my LinkedIn. You got the business card in my bag as well. I wanted to close this by saying a massive, massive thank you to Toastmasters. If I didn't join Toastmasters, I wouldn't be here today. I'll be forever grateful. Thank you, everyone, especially, of course, Marie and Ian, to give me these opportunities, these amazing opportunities. Thank you very much. Do I stay here?
Yeah, stay here. Thank you so much for that, Nick. That was great. We've got a bit of time for questions now, so start thinking of your questions for Nick. I've got a couple to lead us off.
Okay.
So I really enjoyed that. I loved the say yes before your brain says no. That really ties up with what Mike was saying also about the improv and I've noticed that Toastmasters works best that way as well. And it's kind of a bit of a more low stakes environment. If the VPE goes, oh, will you take on this role next week? You just say yes before you start thinking of reasons to say no.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not going to kill you. It's not going to really hurt you. And what I've found is you always grow from it, in that little test environment of a Toastmasters club. It's so true. However, I've also read The Dice Man. You remember The Dice Man? Someone lived their life by rolling the dice. There's probably a possibility you can take on too much saying yes to everything. So, what are your thoughts on boundaries of saying yes, maybe? And, have you... do you apply that to everything? Like, can I ask you for your car now?
Yeah.
No. But, maybe just to talk more about the say yes.
No, I would say if you filter all these opportunities, of course, I didn't mean say yes to everything and anything. You have, just need to clarify that. Just scan that, filter them against your values and your goals. If that something doesn't serve what you want to become, that no, of course, don't take those yeses. That's okay to say no, yeah. But it helps to understand where you want to be and also have the agreement. Can't stress that enough with your family, wife, partner, husband, whatever it is. But scan and filter those opportunities against your values and against your goals, because otherwise you're going to be like the productive procrastination, where you say yes to opportunities that you don't need, and then you're wasting your time, essentially.
No, it makes a lot of sense. And look, we both work with AI. I'm interested if you could talk more about the sort of things you say to your clients about your thoughts of the future as AI gets ever more powerful and is able to do more and more work. How should everyone here be thinking about that? What are your thoughts on dealing with that and preparing for that?
It's a great question. When I speak to business owners, and before we start any kind of job, I always say you need to be very careful how you frame it, of course, because they're going your staff, they're going to probably push back because they're going to be scared, they're going to lose their job because of AI. And I always say, always frame it in a way that it's going to take away those mundane tasks, and then you can do something more enjoyable in your work. So let's take bookkeeping, for example. So I do obviously bookkeeping for, we need to do bookkeeping for Scarlet AI. And my wife initially was doing it. And he's like, Nick, I can't wait until you replace me with AI, because no one comes, if you're a bookkeeper, I don't think no one comes excited in the morning to say, oh, I'm going to reconcile some transactions in Xero. This is crazy, right? So it's more of a concept of these tasks that are low skill, low level. You can offload them and you can do something more rewarding, more enjoyable. That is, of course, that scenario doesn't play well, in my experience, doesn't play well with people who are just coasting. They're okay with the comfort zone. There was a speech on the comfort zone, I think, just this morning. That doesn't play well. That's why we have clashes, because some people are like, no, I want to reconcile my transaction. I want to do some repetitive work. I'm okay with that. And this is where you have a bit of clashes and pushbacks.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I say the same thing. It's for doing the boring stuff, the admin
boring stuff. Yeah.
And it frees us up to be more human and do more creative stuff. I don't feel AI is very good to ask opinions of. That's for humans to have. We have opinions, but get it doing the research maybe and the work. But yeah, very true. Has anyone else got a question? I can see a hand shot up over here, the man in the blue shirt.
the key takeaway on that, especially with a working man like you that travels a lot, 3 kids, time away from home? What's the really 3 key elements in your rock, in your foundation for your house?
Only 3 key. Only 3. Okay. There has to be an agreement. There has to be an agreement. We have clear roles in the family, and we became a Christian family. And I'm the supporter. I provide, and she does work. I say, if you don't want to work, that's okay. But she wants to work. She likes working, but you have to have clear roles. If there is a clash of intention, I would say no. It's no go. Don't do it, because you're going to end up in a situation where you're putting a lot of hours and you work and work and work, very selfish, and then you don't want to come back home, because who's going to meet you at the door when you come back, right? Are you in a friendly environment, or are you in an environment that you don't want to be in? And that was me. I was using work as an outlet. I used to be working as an outlet, treating work as venting, and I didn't want to come back. So it has to be an agreement. And it's okay if you don't. Just don't do that. Do other things. So there is an agreement, and this is a bit controversial because I travel a lot, I fly a lot, and we've got 3 kids. Mind you, they're at daycare, they're not at home all the time, but that's a question my wife gets a lot. And she's like, oh, how can your husband travel and leave you home with 3 kids, right? And she's like, we have an agreement. I love him. That's how we chose our life to be. But it's also a continuous conversation. A continuous conversation. We always have check-ins. We have check-in points, conversation, meetings. Like, Laura, if this is too taxing emotionally, it's okay. So let me know, we can course correct, right? It's always that continuous agreement. If it is one thing, it's not 2 individuals living in the same house. It's one single thing. There has to be that agreement. Thank you. Whatever worldviews work for you. It doesn't have to be a Christian, but as long as you have those values, yeah.
Thank you. Great question. Anyone else got a question over here?
I got a shallow question and one to follow up on this. How many years have you been the founder of Scarlet AI?
Yeah, no, Scarlet AI, I just started it last year. So let's say 7 or 8 months. I'm lucky enough, so I started working in AI before AI became mainstream. So I started working in mid-2022. So ChatGPT was released at the back end of 2022. So I started working in AI and was coming across terms like machine learning. Like, what the hell is this machine learning thing? Now pretty much everyone has heard of machine learning, has heard of training. And yeah, I was lucky enough to have worked for a lot of years in this AI company, and then I just started my own, yeah.
Nice. With building the team that you currently have with you, what was the biggest challenge with building the team within your own organization? How did you move?
In Scarlet AI. So it's not a big team, it's 3. So obviously my wife and and I've got a sales rep in New South Wales. He's a contractor. So he's not on a salary, can't afford a salary, like 6-figure salary yet. So he's a contractor, he works on commission only. But you have to get someone who has very deep relationships with people, and someone you trust. So he's one of my friends. So I haven't got to the point where I will need to hire someone full time, but I'll let you know when I will.
Any more questions in the audience? Marie.
Nick, when you started presenting at industry events and you were getting all this positive feedback, you would have seen how other people were presenting. What is it that you felt you were bringing from your Toastmaster experience to that industry setting that set you apart from the others?
The others are good public speakers. So I don't want to say that I'm the best because I'm not. But you can see where someone is like improvising, is not getting that training, that professional training or professional going to Toastmasters or having that technical, that's the right word, technical training on public speaking. So they are improvising, they don't know what really to say, they don't know how to engage the audience, and that translates into sales, of course, that translates into revenue. So I think that was that is probably the thing that sets me apart. I want to stress this, not me, sets anyone apart that has that communication background. Again, this is pairing technical skills with your communication skills. People are going to industry events, they can't afford like professional public speakers. I'm just an employee, right, who's stepped up. The others are technical people, very well trained, they are very good at their craft, and they go on a stage and it's very awkward, it's very unfamiliar for them. So that's why I think it's very important to pair technical skills with communication skills.
We still have some time. Anyone got an interesting question that's popping up in their mind?
Excuse me, audio.
Nick, I'm Diana. Diana Go, the sponsor for tonight. I joined Toastmasters 3 years ago, pretty much have the same experience as you. So I've used my Toastmasters skill to build my business. And I've done a podcast as well, so it's been great. But I want to ask you, can you give advice to us how to attract more younger people into Toastmasters and to stay in them?
I think it's hard to find those people because the average profile that goes to Toastmasters is someone who is not afraid of change and wants challenges in their life. My perception can be wrong because I haven't got teenagers yet, but my perception is we have become a bit more entitled. Is that your perception as well? Okay. So it's hard. Actually, it's hard. But you want those people in your organization. Absolutely, you want those people because they are the ones who can carry forward and bring more revenue in. Even better if you can find unicorns, who are people that good at their craft and also are able to communicate and get sales and get revenue in and build relationships. And I wouldn't know how to get more people. And I would say post content on social media if you can, and give them their reward ahead of time. Not like instant gratification, but it's like if you join Toastmasters, you can do this in life. If you can do this, you can achieve these goals. Something like, are you good at programming? Are you good at doing this? So what about you pair this with your communication skills? Come to Toastmasters. It's going to be great. It's going to level up in your career. You're going to make more money. You're going to be promoted, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. So I would say something like this. Yeah.
One last question from anyone? See a hand over there.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, like you said, you travel and do a lot of speaking. So what do you speak on? And what are you learning from there? Could you please share with us?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I speak about AI and automation. Okay, AI and automation. For PR, I speak about AI and automation in the IT context. Okay, and for Scarlet AI in general, AI in general. So I was in New South Wales 2 months ago in a local library in Griffith, New South Wales. Does anybody know where Griffith is? Okay, Griffith, New South Wales, local library. And I wanted to help students understand how to use AI, for example. This is a good topic, actually, to explain. How to use AI to augment your thinking instead of outsourcing your thinking to ChatGPT. So I went through a workshop where I showed them how to use AI to ask them questions to validate what they're studying using the Feynman technique. Is it Feynman? Feynman? Yeah. Does anybody know what the Feynman technique is? It's hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. It comes from the person who invented it, came up with this concept, is where you have to, in order to be able to really grasp the concept of something, you need to be able to explain it, to break it down into simple pieces and explain it to a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. So if you can articulate if you can articulate a concept to someone who's not in the same industry as you, then you have grasped the learning, you have grasped the concept. So I was teaching them how to use AI to ask them questions, and then you articulate the concept, and the AI will score them how well they've done. Another one is, that's a big topic I actually speak about, how to spot fake AI, like fake people, fake conversations. I think there was someone working in cybersecurity. With AI, it's even more prominent, right? The conversation is a hot topic now because AI can emulate people, videos. It's almost indistinguishable from a real video. So I taught them how to spot differences and how to understand whether they're getting scammed or it's a real person. Yeah.
Great. One last. Anyone got a burning question? You've been dying to. Yeah. Your hand is okay. You've got time. Quickly, we're down the back right at the back of over this end.
Lift up your hand really high.
Shout
please.
it out. Shout it out.
Somesh, I've never seen you be this shy before.
What? You want me to stand?
Yes, we want to see you.
Somesh, can you stand?
I'm standing. Gee, I'm not that short. Oh!
Stand more.
So Nick, as I'm one of the young people in Toastmasters, it sounds like. Okay. It sounds like you. It sounds like you have two things in your life: family and career. How important is it to develop your family in relation to your career as a young person who's just started his career?
Are you married?
No.
Are you in a relationship?
No.
That's good. So don't. No. How old are you?
24.
24.
And he's a doctor.
You're a doctor?
He just qualified, yeah.
Okay, so perfect. Don't do like me. I did it the other way around. So don't do it. So I built my family, and then I started a business. You've got all your time in the world. You don't have commitments. Your only responsibility is yourself. Great, okay? You've got all the time in the world. You've got the next 3, 4, 5 years just for yourself, okay? So take the next 2 or 3 years to build what you want. Get a job, whatever. You don't have to start a business, by the way. And then you build your family. By the way, get your values straight, right? And the only thing that you need to look for when you're dating is if those values are matching, right? Okay, that's it.
Yeah, very good. I'm glad we had that last question because that was a gem right there. Who in this room is currently founding their own business, or it's just getting going, or you're thinking of getting something going? Can I have a show of hands? How many people at that point of founding something of your own? Okay, there's a good 10 to 15 people here. I mean, that's a really crucial time, and it's really good to hear about your experiences around this time in your life, because I remember when I did it, and it was decades ago, but leaving working for someone else and starting your own thing is the scariest step, but it's so rewarding and so much fun, and it's so good to have control over your own destiny somewhat, and suddenly it doesn't feel like work anymore, does it? It's just life, and that's the best. So really good to hear your story. Thank you, Nick, and thank you so much for coming and speaking with us.